What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got some more NBA news to of course be talking about with you guys. Some pretty odd news has kind of come out with it recently being reported rather by John Halinga of The Athletic that the Lakers are just kind of floating around in these trade conversations and are continuously looking to be interested in these players. A couple players that have kind of risen up on the Lakers board of players that they might want to go out and trade for actually happen to be Marcus Smart, Norman Powell, and Derrick White. And I think the main one that they're kind of interested in is Marcus Smart, and I don't like this by the Lakers at all, even though I do think the Celtics need to trade Marcus Smart eventually. I mean, the fans have very mixed feelings on him. Some of them fans really love him. Some of them just, it's a very interesting relationship. But he's a guy that's he's not really ever going to be getting better, I wouldn't think, as a player. He's kind of doing the same thing every year, where he floats around that 11 to 13 points per game mark, 4 rebounds, and 5.5 assists per game. But of course, that's not his strong thing. His strong thing is defense. He's an absolute defensive anchor. This guy's a freak of nature when it comes to the defense. He's one of the best in the league. We've known this for so long. He's literally 6'3" and can guard really any position at this point. I've seen him switch on the centers and hold his own, which is absolutely crazy to see. But I don't necessarily know if the Lakers really need that at all. In my opinion, the thing that they're lacking is not interior defense. It really isn't. I mean, I know they're lacking a lot of things right now, but in my opinion, if I was them, I would 100% be worrying about that interior defense. I mean, right now, they're starting LeBron James at that center position, which is absolutely crazy. It hurts my head. I hate it so much. Even though I love LeBron James when what he's been able to do this season, I think he's been crazy this season. I think he's seriously entered into the MVP race at this point. I still think to play him at this center position it's embarrassing. I don't understand why they think this is a good idea, when especially there are centers out and about that are cheap that you could go for, or there's very good centers that aren't exactly the most expensive you could go for. I mean, Miles Turner. Why are they interested in a player like Marcus Smart when it's, perimeter defense isn't their main concern? Their main concern is that they're too old. They also have the worst interior defense in the league, and they have no centers whatsoever. I mean, their leading rebounder right now is Russell Westbrook and LeBron James. Neither of them are a center. Anthony Davis was their leading rebounder, but he's injured now. Dwight Howard and DeAndre Jordan are DeAndre Jordan, I can't believe, I feel like someone said this the other day, and it really made me think. DeAndre Jordan was not signed in the offseason because he was a good player. He was signed in the offseason because he has a name. He has a name that was previously good. DeAndre Jordan is not a good player anymore. I can't stress this enough. I know some people will come at me for saying this, but he's just not. I mean, he really does suck defensively now. It's crazy. And look, he's not even getting minutes anymore. He's just not a good player. And if I was the Lakers, I would be waiving DeAndre Jordan at this point. Of course, if DeAndre Jordan was to go and play in any other league, he'd be a good player. But in the NBA, it's just, he's just past it. Dwight Howard, I still think is good to have on the team, though. He's not that great anymore. But again, I still think he's the type of guy you just got to have on the team. He's just a great guy in the locker room. I think a lot of people know this by now. But the Lakers need a center. It's no really secret that they're looking to potentially waive DeAndre Jordan. So I think they got to go out and get a center. And I think they've missed an opportunity here and there, because players like Isaiah Hartenstein and that were young centers that were free agents. And now those type of players are going on the Clippers and absolutely bowling out. So you miss chances like that when you don't look at players like Isaiah Hartenstein. And I think he would actually be perfect for the Lakers right now. He doesn't fix that interior defense issue, but at least he can grab them a board and actually help out relatively nice. I think Isaiah Hartenstein is actually a really underrated player. But again, there are centers in the league that can help you out with that interior defense and maybe go out and get you a board here and there. They are out there, but it's going to be pretty hard to find one without trading some stuff up. And I think you got to trade a couple first-round picks and whatnot up to get Miles Turner. Because look, he's not a great rebounder, but he's one of the best interior defenders in the game, and he can shoot threes. That's another thing they've been struggling with. Their three-point shooting has been pretty bad all season up until recently. So I just think you got to go out and get a dude like Miles Turner. It makes a lot of sense. But if we're looking at the other guys now, look, I don't think Marcus Smart, they should get him. He's too expensive. I think he's on $16 million a year now. doesn't make sense for them. Norman Powell as well is on like 16 million, so is Derek White. Both are really expensive. I actually think Norman Powell would be a really, really good player to get. He's the one that stands out to me the most, considering the Portland Trail Blazers are pretty bad right now, and they are looking to keep Dame. Look, I've spoken about this many times. I think Damian Lillard should look for a fresh scene. But Dame has said that he wants to stay, and apparently he's looking at a $50 million per year type deal, which, hey, you'd probably accept that anyway. But look, it's no secret that I think the Trailblazers are going to blow it up even if Dame stays. There was a rumor they want to just get a whole entire bunch of fresh faces in, so that could mean trading CJ McCollum. We know they're looking to trade Nurkic, Robert Covington, etc. I think if Norman Powell, I would keep him at that shooting guard position. But if a young guy or two pops up, why not? And hey, if the Lakers are looking to trade like, someone like Talon Horton-Tucker, who I don't think necessarily fits in with this Lakers team. I actually think he'd be a pretty good partner for Damian Lillard. If you go to the Lakers and you say, all right, we don't know how much contracts will match up here, but we'll give you Norman Powell. Can we get back Talon Horton-Tucker? I think for contracts to match up, it'd probably be like Kendrick Nunn as well. Then if the Lakers are giving up a first-round pick to just get him to the team. I think that trade works well for both teams because Talon Horton-Tucker could be the type of guy that does turn into a 17-point-per-game type guy and nice defense. I just don't think he'll do that on the Lakers. I think he could actually do that with Dame. That would be pretty interesting. Plus, then the Trailblazers would get a nice point guard in like Kendrick Nunn and a first-round pick, which could definitely help out with whatever they want to do in the future. And again, Norman Powell doesn't work at that small forward for the Trailblazers. So maybe the Lakers look at him. I think he'd then, 100% go and start at that shooting guard position. It's just then there's the issue of, well, you've got no players to match salaries up to get a dude like Miles Turner in. So what center are you going to go after? There's not exactly too many centers they could necessarily get for cheap out there. So it's going to be a problem. I guess Willie Cauley-Stein, he's a player that's not getting minutes at all for the Dallas Mavericks, who hasn't been great this year, but I actually don't mind him as a player. I think he's kind of underrated. He's just struggles sometimes here and there, but he is a name, I guess. I mean, he's going to be better than playing LeBron at center, I guess. I just don't think LeBron at center makes any sense. I think you actually need to get another center in. But again, I'm sure they're out there. It's going to be an absolute, hassle to kind of find a center that maybe wants to be bought out, and a center that could maybe be up for trade. I think they could look at a dude like, Kem Birch, not Kem Birch himself, but a guy like Kem Birch who, when he was a free agent, he was looking for a chance and a new home. The Raptors finally gave him that chance after the Magic got rid of him. I think eventually there will be someone like that. I'm just not exactly too sure who that player is necessarily going to be at the time as making this video. But when we look at Derek White doesn't make any sense. They don't need a guard. They've got a lot of guards. They don't need another one. Norman Powell's cool because he's a wing, and Marcus Smart can guard, the wing position. With small forward or shooting guard, whatever it may be. He can switch on nearly everyone and their dad. Marcus Smart can, which is pretty crazy. But yeah, Derek White, they don't need him. They don't need another guard. And he's pretty expensive for a guy they don't need. You'd rather just go out and trade for a center, I would think. But yeah, look, the Lakers, there are going to be centers available. It's just, as I said, it's going to be so hard. Look, the Sacramento Kings, I wouldn't be surprised if Tristan Thompson maybe got a buyout from them. But does Tristan Thompson really fix what you want? You need interior defense. And Tristan Thompson isn't the greatest interior guy anymore. He is 6'9". He can get you a board here and there. We know how good he is at rebounding for his height. Like, he can get you 10 rebounds per game, which is pretty hectic for a dude that's 6'9". Thad Young is available right now, but again, even though I still actually really rate Thad Young, I think his interior defense can be underrated sometimes. But look, Thad Young, he's got value, so they're going to trade him rather than buy him out. The Lakers could try and do a buyout for a player like Derek Favors, who, again, not the best interior defender, but you'd probably rather play him at center than LeBron. It's really hard to see who they're going to go after, but maybe let me know in the comments down below. If the Lakers were going to go buy out maybe a center or something like that, who would they go and get? What do you guys think about the Lakers being interested in these players? Should they go for any? Do you think Norman Powell would be a good decision for them? Again, I would definitely really like to know. But of course, don't forget to subscribe to my gaming channel, my iRod/Long channel, and this channel for the latest NBA content and news. Comment in the comment section down below. Check out my podcast channel if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.